Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinette, and I'm here with another reading for the second half of March 2017. And I just wanted to let you know how I'm going about this the reading this time round. And as always, I will use my VERA SIBILLA deck, and I'll be using this first off this time. And then I have a deck that warrants a bit of an explanation. I'll show you these cards one at a time as I tell you them. They're called the Tarot of the Mystical Spiral, and it was created by an Italian called Giovanni Pelosini, and the artwork is by a man called Giuseppe Palumbo, and the notion, the thread, the theme of the spiral is really something that that talks about nature. It goes through nature in all forms, from the macrocosm of the galaxies to the microcosm of our DNA, and the entire energy of the universe acts in helicoidal motion in some way. And of course, these laws are not really fully understood, as far as I understand myself, as far as I know, because what we usually remember and think of when we talk about and imagine the spiral, these are notions that have mystified alchemists, scientists, artists, mystics, and the traditions and myths in any continent talk about in some way or another the spiral, and in a symbolic language, in a semiotic way. And even in the mystical traditions, the great mystical traditions and esoteric mystical traditions of the West and the East, is inspired by the spiral. So come with me, and let's use this initiatory deck. This is an initiatory deck. It's the symbolism shows us, it talks about, it tells us about a path of initiation, and it invites us to make a quantum leap in our consciousness and to go there among the sage, the wise men, and understand the secrets behind Gothic cathedrals, or invites us to dance with the dervishes or the Maoris, and meditate with the yogi, or even go travel with the Vikings and dragons, unicorns, and sphinxes and minotaurs, with archangels, the Knights of the Templars, and try to find out the ancient the secrets of humanity and of life itself. So come with me, and we'll use this deck to clarify. And every time I pull the cards, I'll say what the card specifically means in this deck, and try to see if we can get clarification using that. So off we go to those readings, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Pisces. It's Christelle again for you for the second half of March. I'm going to mix the cards now, concentrate on you, Pisces, for the second half of March. See where these VERA SIBILLA take us. VERA SIBILLA, what would life be without them, really? There's a course on my website on how to read these. If you're interested, go take a look. Pisces for the second half of March. Let's see what is coming in for you, Pisces. Now, this is the third time I'm starting the reading for Pisces. Each time I started, I got halfway through and the phone rang, the doorbell rang, the mailman, so I was unable to finish it, and I had to start all over again. Let's see if this is the time that I can get through the reading for you, Pisces. Well, there's going to be a change that will bring, a change that is going to be difficult for you, but that will be ultimately a favorable change. I have the alegria here, happiness, and the ladro that speaks to change, but in a slightly negative way. the focus is on communication. It's the messaggero. Messaggero is the messenger. Now, when I say the focus is on communication, it is on communication, but we also have other forms of communication in this deck, like the conversation, the letter. This is the messenger. So there is a medium here. You know, the medium, you hear the expression, the medium is the message. Well, this is what this means, this card. What am I seeing all around that focus? I'm seeing some, of course, there is something to do with a love partner. And not necessarily your main relationship. Okay, not necessarily your wife, your companion, your institutional bond, significant other. No, it may have, for many of you, this is a general reading, it may have to do with another party that you have entertained, with whom you've entertained a relationship for a fairly long time. And during the second half of March, it's just, you will decide to let it go, you know, for whatever reason. And it's interesting that the cards are making it quite difficult for Christelle Martinette to understand whether you really want that change or whether you really can't stand that person anymore and that's time to get rid of them. Because what I'm seeing here is the more you are with them, the worse it gets, and you want to let it go. You want to let it go before you become bitter. Okay, there's something you just can't stand, you have to get rid of. Now, that said, we have the nuptial dance here, limeneo, and you can see there are two hands there, and there's a ring being exchanged. There's a nuptial dance, and you will, ultimately, the end of March is going to bring this idea in your head. It's going to bring the notion of becoming one with another person, even if it means only at a spiritual level. Now, many of you will say, well, what more other level is there? I keep saying I'm a material girl. You know, I want to feel, you know, the person, and you want to have their presence. You want to, you know, this is life in the third dimension. We come into these, we're embodied into a person because we can experience all these trials and tribulations that life has for us. And so why not? I mean, I could, with my mind, I can travel to all areas of the universe, but it will give me a certain high. It will give me a certain rush. But and I do. I have to admit, I do. But Pisces, what I'm seeing here is that you have had your cup, and it has, you know, runneth over with enough of that third dimension that you're ready to get rid of one, because you want to enter a spiritual dimension that you haven't so far, with the person, not necessarily of your dreams, the person that gives you peace. This is what I'm saying. That gives you a sense of calm, support, peace. And I'm not saying you don't have any sexual pull or there's not enough passion. No, I'm saying that you're making a decision. And, you know, instead of saying, let's get physical, you're thinking, let's get serious. You know, serious in the sense of, well, what is important to me? You know, Pisces, what is not important to me? Let me take the this mystical spiral deck and see what they have to add. And I'm going first of all to that messenger in the middle, because there is also of course, the cards do tell us about a situation. When I read the emerging message, and of course it does talk about lies that were told over and over again, and that you know, you have displayed yourself or represented yourself as a single person who you were not, either man or woman, and you have enough of that, and you haven't of late, you haven't been able to see yourself in the mirror, look at yourself, and it wasn't a pretty picture that you saw. And what you're aiming for is a bigger, more important picture in your mind. Let's go now to this messenger to see what that has to say. The messenger. Okay. All right. Now I've got here the Ten of Swords. I have the Page of Wands. My camera just shut off at the Page of Wands. And then I have this Death card, the 13th major arcana. Now, the Ten of Swords, the Ten of Swords. And of course, as we know, the swords are the mind, okay? And this is under the Sphinx of Delphi. There is, the idea here is that under the Sphinx of Delphi, there is a person who's not very cautious and dares to defy the Sphinx, but lost. Okay, and that goes in line with our story here. And this is the Page of Wands. The Page of, my glasses are falling off my nose. The Page of Wands is Hermes, and who's trying to rob something from Apollo. And then we have the Death card, which is, you know, talks of mutatis mutandi in Latin, which would be having made the necessary changes. And these three over the messenger are telling us that you've come to your senses and you're ready to make to your senses. You've changed your mind, you're ready for a change. I'm going now to the dispiacere here. There is a card, it's the last outgoing card from the third row. I'm going to see what that is all about, because it's knighting with the card Amore, love, on the other side of that row. Okay, we've got some story here. This is the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Wands, and we have the Fool. All right, I'm going to start, well, the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the Templar that's going through the spiral labyrinth of a Gothic cathedral towards Triskel. So there's a bit of adventure there, and not the anxiety, but the anticipation of what is coming. And the Seven of Wands, the Vikings fighting against the spiral tentacles of Kroken. And then, of course, we have the Fool. And the Fool's motto, the Fool's saying is non habit. I don't possess, and I don't know. So it's sort of a caution, you know, you're throwing caution to the winds here, and that is giving you some cause for concern. Let me see about, I'm going to pull one card here on the last nuptial dance. Ah, the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Cups. Isn't that lovely? The Ten of Cups is Constantine, Emperor Constantine in triumph. Is triumphant, and this, of course, in almost all decks is the happily ever after, and this sits well with what I'm seeing, because you do come out victorious in your endeavor to break away from that other person. I have these runes here that are going to crown the reading. Yes, fear not. I have Lagos bright stave, Lagus bright stave that sits right over this Ten of Cups, this victory, and your relationship, your main relationship with Awats is safeguarded no matter what. Now, I have 30 sats here, 30 sats bright stave over the melancholy card. And what this tells us is that there's a price to pay. And okay, we got that. We understand that. There's a price to pay. And look at the way the runes are talking to you. This is Manat's bright stave and Isa bright stave. And they're talking about you having to make, or having had to make, a decision which would distinguish your main relationship even more, which then leads to a series of positive choices and then success in that Ten of Cups. And again, not only the success in the relationship, I have Fehu bright stave. It talks about success in all areas. There's also Pedro that talks about your having made the right decision. Not only that, we have Tyr here. I'm hoping that you can see that. Let's see. Tyr bright stave right over the death card. And what it is telling you, if you have any second thoughts, this is a necessary passage. You do have to break away. You do have to renovate that you're spreading yourself too thin, emotionally speaking. And I have two others. The beginning of a journey, the beginning of a journey in a different fashion. Iwatz and Bjork, or Berkana, and they talk about the journey. This is after the necessary changes have been made. A journey forward that will hold for you many more adventures. Do not fear. Go forward, Pisces. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, Pisces. Until we read together again. Bye-bye.